Next topic is equation of damped simple harmonic motion and its solution of mechanical oscillator. In the last chapter, we have studied equation of undamped simple harmonic motion and we have find that solution. Same article was there in the first chapter, but that article belongs to undamped oscillator, but here is damped oscillator. So we will consider a damped oscillator in which damping will occur there. So simple mechanical oscillator is a mass attached to a spring and it is kept on frictionless surface. We know that when mass is displaced with some force to the extreme position E2 and we left it, then it will oscillate through mean position and reach at second extreme position, and from there it again passes through mean position and reached at extreme position. So in this way oscillator oscillates between extreme positions and mean positions. From Newton law we know that mass into acceleration is force, and here on this oscillator there are two forces which are acting on this oscillator. One force is restoring force and that is occurring on it due to spring. We know that spring try to restore this mass from the position E2 to mean position, and when it reaches in the mean position, then due to inertia property oscillator crosses this mean position and arrived at this extreme position. In this way, in the last chapter we have said that restoring force is directly proportional to displacement, but restoring force and displacement are in opposite direction. So what we have said in last chapter, that F equal to minus x Sx, which is due to spring, F equal to minus Sx. But here damping force is also there, and we know that damping force is Fd equal to minus R dx by dt. Here R is damping term and dx by dt is velocity. So we can say that damping force Fd is proportional to velocity, and from this relation we can see that Fd and velocity, that is dx by dt, they are in opposite direction due to this minus sign. Ft equal to minus R dx by dt, it implies that Ft is opposite to the velocity. So first term is due to the Hooke's law, which applied to a spring to which we have attached mass m, and second term is the damping force. So we can simplify this equation. What we do, we will bring both the term to the left side, and so right side will become 0. So we can write in this way, m d square x by dt square plus r dx by dt plus sx equal to 0, and of both side of this equation we will divide with m. So when we will divide left side with m and right side with m, left side will become d square x by dt plus r by m dx by dt plus s by m x equal to 0. Then we take r by m as a constant 2b. We know that r is damping constant and m is mass, that is also constant. So ratio of two constant will also be a constant, and we take this constant as 2b. And s by m is also omega naught square, which we have also taken in the last chapter, that value of s by m is omega naught square. So omega naught is frequency. So I have discussed already that s is spring constant and m is mass. So if s is large, stiffness will be more, so frequency will be more. If m is more, in that case frequency will be less. So we can say that both s and m affect frequency. So it can, ratio of these both terms can be taken as the frequency. So if we put this value in this equation becomes d square x by dt square, r by m will be 2b, and dx by dt, and after that plus s by m is omega naught square, and x equal to 0. So we can say that it is the differential equation of damped harmonic oscillator, which is the mechanical damped harmonic oscillator. If we not consider this second term, this differential equation will again be the differential equation of undamped harmonic oscillator. So due to damping, this is additional term, that is due to the damping. So we can see that in case of damped harmonic oscillator, three terms are there in differential equation of mechanical oscillator. Similar mathematical expressions are there in case of damped electrical oscillator. So if we know the mathematical procedure of damped mechanical oscillator, the same procedure is applied in case of damped electrical oscillator. So in examination, question can be asked about the mechanical damped oscillator or electrical damped oscillator. So we can say that everything that is mathematical is same in both the oscillator. There is a single difference, that is, in case of mechanical oscillator we take displacement as the variable quantity, but in electrical oscillator charge remains the variable quantity. So x is replaced with q in case of damped electrical oscillator. And also we take circuit diagram of electrical oscillator, that is capacitor, inductor and resistor are connected in closed circuit in series. So that combination of capacitor, inductor and resistor is called electrical oscillator. So this is the differential equation of damped mechanical oscillator. So now we will try to find its solution. So we first consider that let solution of this differential equation is a e raised power alpha t. So in the later stage we can determine alpha and a, but here we are assuming that this is the solution of given differential equation. So dx by dt will become, we will differentiate this x, we will get dx by dt alpha a e raised power alpha t, d square x by dt square will be equal to alpha square a e raised power alpha t. So we will put all these three value in differential equation 1, because if x is the solution of given differential equation, then this solution must satisfy that differential equation. So we will put x in that differential equation and its derivatives in the corresponding differential equation. So differential equation 1 will become, this is the differential equation, we will put here the d square x by dt square value, dx by dt value and x value. So this equation will become, by putting all these three value, alpha square a e raised by alpha t plus 2b alpha a e raised by alpha t plus omega naught square a e raised by alpha t equal to 0. And we will take alpha a into e raised by alpha t common in both of these three terms. In first, second and third term, we are watching that a e raised by alpha t is common in both these three terms. So we will take it common, and inside the bracket there will remain alpha square plus 2b alpha plus omega naught square equal to 0. But we know that a raised by alpha cannot be 0. Why? Because we are considering it as solution of differential equation, and 0 is not solution of given differential equation. So we are taking it, we are not taking that it is 0. So it is not 0, it implies bracket, inside bracket terms will equal to 0. If this is not 0, then it can be 0, that is 0 multiplied by something is 0, so it is not 0, so bracket terms are equal to 0. So we can say that alpha square plus 2b alpha plus omega naught square will be 0. So this is a quadratic equation, and we can find value of the alpha. So we know that if there is quadratic equation, then we have two roots of it, means alpha will have two value. So we can determine these two values by solving this quadratic equation. We know that solution of this quadratic equation is minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, since it is a standard formula. So here b is minus 2b and b is 2b. We can watch here, that is a value has 1. This quadratic equation is quadratic in alpha. So with alpha square there is 1, so value of a is 1, value of b is 2b, and value of c is omega naught square. So we can apply the formula alpha equal to minus 2b plus minus under root of 4b square minus 4 omega naught ka square divided by 2. So inside the under root there is 4 common, so we can take outside the square root. So if we will take under root of 4 means 2 common, then there will remain inside this under root will b square minus omega naught ka square. So in the upper portion 2 is common in both the term, so it can be cancelled with lower 2. So alpha will equal to minus b plus minus of under root of b square minus omega naught ka square. So we can say that alpha has two values here, one is with plus sign and one is with minus sign. So alpha 1 has two value, alpha 1 and alpha 2. Alpha 1 can be written as minus b plus under root of b square minus omega naught ka square, and alpha 2 can be written as minus b minus b square minus omega naught ka square. So we have got two value of alpha 1 and alpha 2, but we have considered x equal to a e raised by alpha t as solution of given differential equation. So here alpha has two values, alpha 1 and alpha 2. So we can say that if x depend upon alpha but alpha has two value, so x will also have two values, one is x1 and another one is x2. So x1 can be written as a1 e raised to alpha 1 t. So we are considering here some different constant. x1 is with alpha 1, x2 is with alpha 2. So we can take with x1 this constant as a1 and with the x2 this constant as a2. So x1 and x2 can be written as a1 e raised to alpha 1 t and a2 e raised to alpha 2 t. So since we know that if x1 and x2 are solutions of a given differential equation, then their sum is also, or their superposition is also, solution of that differential equation. So we can say that x equal to x1 plus x2 will also be solution of given differential equation. So we will calculate x1 and x2. So we will add both these terms, a1 e raised to alpha 1 t plus a2 e raised to alpha t. So this will be equal to x. But we will put here alpha 1 and alpha 2 values from the last calculated value. Here we can see that alpha 1 is this and alpha 2 is this. So we will put these value in here. So x will be equal to a1 e raised to alpha 1 t, but alpha 1 is minus b plus under root of b square minus omega naught square into t, and alpha 2 is minus under root of minus b minus under root of b square minus omega naught square into t. So we can apply here the formula e raised power a plus b. We know that e raised power a plus b is e raised power a into e raised power b. Also same formula can be applied here, e raised power a plus e raised power b, e raised power a plus b is equal to e raised power a into e raised power b. So we can take it a1 e raised power minus bt, because it is multiplied with t. Both terms are here multiplied with t. So a1 e raised power minus bt into e raised power under root of b square minus omega naught square into t. E raised power a plus b is equal to e raised power a into e raised power b. So same formula can be applied here, a2 e raised power minus bt into e raised power minus under root of b square minus omega naught square t. So x will become equal to e raised power minus bt is common here and here. So in first term e raised power minus bt, in second term e raised power minus bt. So e raised power minus bt can be taken common, and inside the bracket there will be a1 e raised power under root of b square minus omega naught square t plus a2 e raised power minus b square minus omega naught square t. So it is value of x. That is, what is x? It is the solution of the given damped harmonic oscillator. So it is the solution of given damped harmonic oscillator differential equation. On this solution of differential equation, we will find three cases of any mechanical harmonic oscillator. We will say that we will get three cases, that is the type of the damping. Since we know that damping is decided by the term b square minus omega naught square. Here it is the value of x. It means displacement will vary when time will vary, and also b square minus omega naught square will tell us about the behavior of x. So sometimes x finishes too early. In that case we can say that x depend upon b square minus omega naught square, means how much fast damping occur there, it is decided by the term b square minus omega naught square. If we see that this term is more, in that case x will be more. So it is given here, damping is decided by the term b square minus omega naught square. So first case is here heavily damped oscillator. What is heavily damped oscillator? The oscillator in which damping occur heavily, damping occur too much. It is also called over damped oscillator. And what is over damped oscillator? What is the condition for over damped oscillator? That is b square is greater than omega naught square. It means b square is the damping term and omega naught square is stiffness term. This term is due to spring. We have said here in this equation, it is the differential equation of damped harmonic oscillator, and we have said here it is equation I have given previously. We have derived it before 2 or 3 slides. We have said that this second term is due to FD, that is damping force, and this term is due to the spring. So we can say that damping is decided by this force, or we can say that damping will decide by R by M. And R by M, what is R by M? R by M is 2B. So if R by 2M decide the damping, it means B decide the damping, because R by M is equal to 2B. It means B decide the damping. So what we say is, if B square is greater than omega naught square, means it is B and it is with the damping force. It means when will be this damping force be large? When R by M will be large. Or when this damping force will be less? When R by M will be less. So R by M means 2B, means B. B will decide about the damping. If B will be large, it means damping force will be large. In that case, the oscillator will be a damped oscillator and its oscillation will die out very fast. So if B square means damping term will be more than the stiffness term, this term will be more and this term will be less. In that case, oscillator will called as the heavily damped oscillator, means oscillations will die out too fast, or it will die out in a very less time. Damping will occur heavily. So it is due to damping force. S by M is stiffness term, which is due to spring. So damping is decided by the term B square is greater than omega naught square. What is B? B is R by 2M. B is R by 2M. So what is will be B square? R square by 4M square. And omega naught is omega naught square is S by M. So when oscillator is said to be heavily damped, when this condition is satisfied, that is when R square by 4M square will be greater than S by M. So after this we will take some mathematics, and we have written in a separate box this calculation here. We know that cos hyperbolic theta is E theta plus e raised to minus theta divided by 2, and sin hyperbolic theta is equal to E theta minus e raised to minus theta by 2. So we have these two results of hyperbolic cos and sine. So we will add these both. So what will you get? Cos h theta plus sin h theta equal to e raised to theta, and if we will take their difference, cos h theta minus sin h theta, we will get e raised to minus theta. So what is e raised to theta? E raised to theta is cos h theta plus sin h theta. And what is e raised to minus theta? It is cos h theta minus sin h theta. So we have got e raised to theta value and e raised to minus theta value, and this e raised to theta value we will take in the expression of displacement. So we can see here it is the expression for displacement. So here is e raised to theta. What is theta here? It is under root of b square minus omega naught square. So it is e raised to theta and it is e raised to minus theta. So we will apply formula of e raised to theta here and e raised to minus theta here. So we will get e raised to under root of b square minus omega naught square as cos of h under root of b square minus omega naught square plus sin of h under root of b square minus omega naught square. Similarly, e raised to minus theta means e raised to minus under root of b square minus omega naught square as cos of h under root of b square minus omega naught square minus sin of h under root of b square minus omega naught square. So when we will put these two values in equation 2, what is equation 2? It is equation 2. So here we will put values of e raised to this and this, so this equation will change.